Alright, so this is the project for Mr. Coop's class. We're talking about opioids and why he shouldn't do them. How it ruined his brother Michael's life, aka my uncle. So, first off, I want to say, please don't use opioids of any kind, like Xanax, like a bunch of like pain relievers, like over-the-counter meds, Oxycontin, and all that. Please, if you know anyone who's doing these, please try and get them some help. There's some like rehab centers. Call National Suicide Prevention Hotline because you're basically killing yourself when you're doing these. So, yeah, we're just gonna ask a few questions about how this ruined, well, my uncle's life, basically. So, gonna ask him a few questions about this. So, for himself, did you notice anything that was like happening, like short term, like see like stuff going on with him? Like he was nauseous at all?
No. Basically, what it was is I noticed he was sleeping a lot more.
Yeah.
More than a normal 8 hours. It would turn into like 16 to 18 to 20 hours of sleep. And then I also noticed behavioral habits, short-tempered, irritability, just generally not him not being himself.
Alright, and also some to add to that, long-term effects that have on you is you become dependent on it, which is addiction basically. And if you keep abusing for a long period of time, you can potentially die, which you probably will. So, you notice anything with others that like the family and all that? Like, was he losing friends because of this, or was he hanging out with the wrong crowd at all?
Absolutely, he began to put himself around people that were just like him, that would achieve anything and everything to get their high or to get their addiction. So basically, the family was pretty much just a taking ground. You took what you needed and you left, and you went around people that was going to give you what you wanted instead of what reality tells you that it should be. So you build that fantasy in your head of what our false reality is.
Yeah. Did anything happen in the community? Like, did anyone like find out about this outside of the house, or like?
No one ever found out about it. Outside of the immediate family knowing he was struggling with opioid addiction, the first time the community heard about it was in Lancaster, and it was after his death. It kind of brought to light, oh wow, this is real. 3 Xanny bars and a bottle of liquor. Yeah, your heart doesn't like very much.
Yeah. Well, some other information. It's proven that like teens can use because of home environment. Was home environment something that Michael decided to like use or whatever like that?
Michael was kind of awkward and kind of an outcast anyways. So he began to use to make friends. He began to do the fitting in thing instead of the standing alone thing, because sometimes it's easier to fit in. And if it's the opioids, it's helping you bring that false sense of reality that you have to fit in with people. Then he began to do that.
Alright. Was he ever prescribed anything that you decided to abuse or whatever like that?
No. This was completely friend-based. I'll try this, not knowing what it's going to do, not knowing the consequences of it, not knowing the dependency part of it. It was just, hey, I'm going to try it to look cool, and then it became a habit.
And it says here, opioid use can turn into heroin use, which, would that be the case? Since I know one of our uncles, not going to list their names, of course, but do you think opioid use can turn into heroin use?
Oh, yeah, very easily. Opioids are very expensive. People can spend, and this is a crazy thought, and it blows my mind to even think about it, but people can spend up to $500 a day for a pill. If it's not prescribed for you, you can pay $50, $60 a pill. So, you're paying $50, $60 a pill, and you have a high habit, you begin to develop a high tolerance level. Next thing you know, it's $100 a day. Next thing you know, it's $200 a day. Next thing you know, you spend $500 a day, which now your body becomes dependent on it. It becomes a necessity. It becomes like water to them. How our body thrives on water, that's what they feel like when it becomes to the pill. So In order to do that and to maintain that, you either have to steal a lot, have a high priority job, or switch to heroin, which heroin is cheaper and gives you the same effect.
Well, that should wrap everything up. So, what would you like to say to the kids in class watching this right now, like about opioid use? Like, tell them, give them some advice about trying not to.
Well, I would tell you, kids, I know life's short, and you're going to try things, you're going to do things. Everyone experiments with things. But I will tell you, know that when you begin to make these decisions, you're making a life-altering decision. Sometimes you can come back out of it. Sometimes you get stuck into it. The further you get sucked into it, the further down in life you go. So I would just say to you, be safe, be courteous, be cautious, and know what you're messing with before you try it. Because life is hard enough without having an addiction.
All right. Thank you. That should be it. Hopefully you all enjoyed.